So I finally have the video that I've been wanting to make during this whole process. I feel better. Not at 100%, but I'm much better than I was my last video. All of the videos. Going back on the 1200 milligrams actually really helped. And I think going on the 900 for a week might have helped with some like ease it into my system and some of the side effects, because my hair's not falling out quite as much as it was before. I mean, give it time, who knows. My shakes, the tremors are really bad. More so than they were before. Same as they were when I went on the when I was on the 1200 beforehand. It just makes simple things kind of hard, like putting on makeup, buttoning buttons. It also kind of makes me like physically unstable. Like I'm more likely to run into things, just, you know, there's some sort of disconnect. I guess the real test is whenever I'll start riding again, which, you know, I'm gonna give that a while until I'm completely leveled out before I test it there. Another thing is feeling better and then not being on the Tegretol is my memory is amazing. I knew beforehand my memory was great, but the Tegretol made me forget that my memory was great, and then I couldn't retain any information. It was so difficult for me. But on the lithium, and now the Tegretol is out of my system, my memory is amazing. I forgot how good it is. So, which is really neat. But it also means I can go in a conversation forever now. So, you know, I try not to do that because not everybody's interested in the beginning of World War I in regular conversation. But especially history, like the things I remember people's names, no problem now. I mean, that's definitely a great plus. Also, who's talking to me? Sorry. I'm on my way to work, so this is one of the only times I have time to really do this. What was I gonna say? Shit! Oh! Physically. So I said before in one of my videos, I'm losing weight. On lithium, I'm still losing weight. My legs and body has just kind of snapped itself together. Before on the Tegretol, I mean, I was riding and working out, strength training. I was doing so much, and my body looked like crap. I don't know what I was doing. I had no muscle definition. It was just, I don't know what was going on with that, or if that's, you know, a side effect of the Tegretol, but I know muscle weaknesses, and you know. Anyway, that's the only two correlations I could put together is the Tegretol for explaining how my body looked, or, you know, just in my mid-30s, like everything goes to shit eventually. But since being off of that, and I haven't ridden a bike, I haven't done anything outside of like minor sit-ups and squats, which I was doing long before now. So I've cut my exercise regimen in like by at least like 80%, and my body looks better, and I'm losing weight. It's the craziest shit. I assumed the opposite would happen with lithium, but it just keeps getting better and better. Like I said, I think the lithium isn't making me like all of a sudden, you know, body much better, but the Tegretol was fucking it up so much that now that I'm off of that, like, everything's getting better. It's so strange. Like I said, I didn't expect I expect the opposite of that. So as far as the shakes and the being relatively like shaky on my balance, it also makes me very jumpy. Like if someone closes a door too fast, or like, I don't know, drops an envelope or something, like I jump. Situations where I normally wouldn't jump, like you might be startled a little bit, but it's just like as if some horror movie monster jumped out in front of me. It's just, you know, like end of the world, which is stupid, but that's just part of it. And I've just told my coworkers, you know, and I was like, I'm gonna jump a lot if I all of a sudden pass you in a halt, like, you know, if I'm going around a corner and they all of a sudden go around the corner, usually it's like, oh hey, but I jump and I'm like, Jesus Christ! So I've just told them, you know, and they always apologize. And I'm like, nope, don't apologize. I was like, just get used to it. And I was like, it's gonna happen. It's just a side effect of the medication. You didn't do anything to scare me. You don't even have to acknowledge it because it might happen like 10 times a day. So, you know, let's just pretend like this is normal and it's the equivalent. I don't know, if I like sneezed or something. I don't know, but the guys at work are great. They're all been like really great about this process. So once again, I'm surprised how empathetic my work environment is and how understanding they are. So that's the only other, the shaking hands is the most troubling one, or the most persistent, but I've learned to like cope with it or learn ways to get around it. Like using buttons on a shirt, you can't just button them up like you used to. There's kind of like, I could never explain it, but you know, I've figured out how to use my fingers at like a slightly different angle or something like that to compensate for it. My biggest worry is, well, what was my biggest worry is now that I'm able to, with a clear level head, paint, I was wondering, like, how is that gonna work? Because my paintings tend to be, you know, overly detailed, and like I'm relatively particular as to how I want each. I just, you know, it's not. It would not flow well with my shaky hands. And a good friend of mine told me, he's like, well, why don't you paint with your shaky hands and have that be like your new thing, you know, like create a new style for yourself that incorporates the shaking hands. And as stupid and simple, not stupid, but as simple as that sounds, like I didn't think of that. Like I was just sitting over here mourning the fact that I might not ever paint again, or try, and get really frustrated. But I was like, holy shit, that's a great idea. So instead of getting frustrated that I can't paint like I used to, I was create, or, you know, a new style of painting with my shaky hands. So I can still paint the same subjects, gas masks, surprise, but I don't have to feel like I'm missing out or have compromised anything. Also, with my brain being clear, also feeling better is a big one on lithium. Like if I'm unmedicated when lithium is low, it's terrible. On Tegretol, I just couldn't get my mind together. Oh, and something else. While I was on I'm always under the impression that I'm lazy. Like if I don't get something done, I yell at myself because it's just me being lazy. And I'm always yelling at myself for being lazy, yet knowing that I'm actually not a lazy person, but that's just what I do. And so on the Tegretol, I wasn't getting a lot of stuff done that I wanted to, and I was always tired, and I chalked it up to me being lazy, of course. And so, you know, that kind of wears on me. Well, it wore on me a lot. But now, after being off Tegretol and on lithium, I'm not lazy. I'm not lazy at all. The Tegretol just made me so tired and my brain so foggy and all the mental confusion that I wasn't lazy. My body was working against me as far as like energy and, you know, mental powers. So that's what was wrong. All right, I'm at work, I gotta go now, but just feeling much better. And like I said, work's always the test to see how the social anxiety goes. So last day, Tuesday, it was better. Not great, but it was better. So we'll see how today goes.